Welcome to the Creative Condition podcast, an ongoing series of conversations and considerations to help people understand and embrace their own unique creativity for fulfilling lives and brilliant careers. My name is Ben Talon. I'm an illustrator and author, and I bring 16 years of creative industry experience working with the New York Times, The Guardian, the Premier League, and more. And I invite designers, artists, psychologists, scientists, coaches, athletes, sensitivity experts, and all kinds of thought leaders to help us broaden our knowledge of creativity. Creativity is a fundamental pillar of human happiness, a vital ingredient in the solutions to our problems, but so often misunderstood. The show is supported by founding sponsor and B Corp, Illustration X. Take a look at their stunning range of illustrators and animators at illustrationx.com. If you like the music for the show, it's by Dirty Freud, who you can listen to now on Spotify and all good music streaming services. Hello guys, so it's episode 234 out this week of the Creative Condition podcast with Andrew Miles Davis. Andrew is a digital and social media marketing expert. He trains businesses around the world in all things digital marketing. So Andrew is great. He's been, I've been referring to him as a digital dinosaur because he's been around since the very advent of the internet. He was there at MySpace when things kicked off over there. He's seen it transition to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, to AI and TikTok and everything else. And we had a discussion this week about social media marketing today with everything that's going on. We're in a revolution with AI. A lot of people are feeling jaded, myself included. How do we keep doing this stuff without selling our soul to the algorithm? And how much of that do we actually have to factor in? So you can go and listen to it now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the platforms you get your podcasts. So let's get into it. 5 things I've learned about creativity. I guess moreover about creativity in the realm of digital marketing and social media for this one. Number 1 is to remember the word social. I think we all forget that. We go on there, we pump out the content and we wait for results that might not ever come. So social. What do we do in a social interaction? It's a two-way street, or at least it should be, if you're having healthy, positive social relationships. You listen, you speak, you share, you respond, you take action. I think that's the point. So remember that always. Andrew hit on a really good point in terms of what listening represents online. It isn't always about creating and pumping out the content. We might just spend time on there seeing what the people that we choose to follow are doing with their time, responding, critiquing, giving our thoughts, having engagements and interactions. That way, when we do post, it's going to mean a hell of a lot more. Number 2. Tech will change, behaviour will change, but the fundamentals of digital marketing do not. We still have to create content. We still go to consume content. And then we take action. That's the hope. We engage people and we give them a way of taking action. I saw it said by a friend of mine recently that he couldn't believe the amount of social media posting without a call to action. It might be go and take a look at my book, read my story, have a look at my portfolio on my website. It might just be, I want some feedback. Whatever the thing is, if we just post and share our work and our imagery, not all that much is going to come of it because there's so much noise out there. There's so much for us to consider each day that I miss good friends' posts all the time. There's artists I love their work. I might not see them for months. Sometimes that takes a little bit of direct action on our part to include people, to tag people, to let them know, to send them a link. You can't just post and expect to be seen these days for free. It's not the way it works. Number 3, scheduling and organisation enables creativity. There's this belief that we have to be spontaneous. We're rock stars, we're artists. We can do it when we want. Creativity doesn't work on a schedule. It's not true. As somebody who's quite scatterbrained, who's naturally disorganised, I find it actually quite important to be somewhat organised, to have some structure, to be accountable between a certain period of hours. And I think the same applies here to social media. Because then within that space, if we have structure, we create the freedom to be truly spontaneous and creative within the right work environment, with the right soundtrack and everything else. So in terms of social media, I think Andrew hits on a really good point of doing things with his coffee. So even if he's not posting content, he'll go and engage for 10 minutes with each of his 3 coffees throughout the workday. And at least then he's staying present, he's being seen, he's out there. And I think it's the same with creativity. Sometimes we need to schedule the more mundane organizational things and able to free up ourselves, for the actual proper rock star stuff, for the cool, spontaneous, experimental stuff. If we don't have the structure around it, that can really fall flat. Number 4, assimilating the technology. So one thing that I picked up from my conversation with Andrew was that it changes all the time. Every new platform we've seen comes and goes. It will always be the case. It will be the same with AI. It's probably going to be around for a while, but it will be assimilated into the common psychology in our industry. It will just be something that people use. We still need to be surprised. We still need to be shocked by interesting creativity. We still need to see something of great value that we're offering. So it was Andy Sandoz, who was president of D&AD at the time, that said to me, technology is not going to shoot you. You don't need to know how to use all of it. You don't need to be an expert in any of it. But if you're not aware of it, if you don't remain aware and factor it into your thinking and your creativity and decision making, you will get left behind and you won't be able to generate genuinely original ideas that are fit for purpose in today's market. So that's something that I also picked up from Andrew. He's seen it all come and go, but he stays present, he factors it in, and he moves forward. I think we could all do the same. The last one is that ultimately, really, you can bombard yourself with ideas of, I've got to be here, I've got to be there, I've got to be posting this, I've got to be doing that. Ultimately, you have to do it on your terms, incorporating your personality and what you actually enjoy doing. It's the same with creativity. If you do it in terms of what you should be doing, what you want to be seen, then it's not going to work. If you don't feel good about it, if you feel daunted or overwhelmed by it, you're not going to do it effectively. You're not going to do it with the passion that resonates. Whereas I think if you bring the numbers in, if you're a person that wants to work with more intimacy in a smaller community, it's about building that right community for you. Maybe you need to spend more time building relationships with a smaller number of people rather than working the algorithm. Maybe it's a balance of both. Or maybe you're a person who likes the challenge of the algorithm. And maybe you need to create content and then try and hit those goals to get the big numbers and get people brought in. It really depends on your personality and what you're good at and what you're drawn to and what you're suited to. So bear that in mind. Cheers, guys. That's what I picked up from Andrew Miles Davis this week. You can listen to him on episode 234 of the Creative Condition podcast now in either a snappy highlights episode or the full-length conversation. Check it out now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the good platforms. Supported as ever by Illustration X and the Ukrainian Institute. Thanks, guys.